thought to offer a text from the Bible for the summer and the fall and the winter to come. It's Corinthians 8:14. It's familiar to most of you. If the trumpet sound uncertain, who then shall gird for battle? Now, some of us might say that the second war in a generation over Middle Eastern oil was certainly a certain note. Some of us might believe that when large chunks of the continent of Antarctica are falling into the ocean, and when the Arctic Ocean may be ice-free for the first time in human history in only a few years, that is a clarion call. Others might observe that when America's manufacturing base is hollowing out, when 6 million Americans have lost their jobs since last summer, and when another 6 million Americans have lost their livelihoods, even though they are still officially employed, that a strong warning sound should be heard. And many of us felt last August when candidate and now President Obama made his pledge that we would have a green economic recovery, that we would have 5 million clean energy jobs, that we would break our addiction to oil. Many of us thought that we had finally heard that certain trumpet call which would summon America to a new energy future. But there is something peculiar about the acoustics of a part of this city. There are 16 blocks between the White House and the United States Capitol. And in those 16 blocks, there is something which muffles the acoustics of boldness. I think we need to ask the President and the Congress to double down. We need to raise our sights and expand our goals. We need to set the standard for the energy legislation coming out of this Congress as no fewer than 10 million green energy jobs. Will you join me? It's all about scale. It's all about scale. We wonder. Now, let me tell you a story. I was in Duluth, Minnesota last June, when you could still pick up newspapers and read positive economic news. And I picked up the local paper, and it said the Port of Duluth was booming. And the reason the Port of Duluth was booming, the story explained, was Duluth has always had a very healthy export trade. Duluth shipped out grain. It shipped out taconite ore from the Iron Range. But it never had, historically, a lot to bring in. It was kind of a one-way port. Well, Duluth now has something it's bringing in. It's shipping out taconite iron ore, and it's bringing back iron ore in the form of wind turbines to be erected in Minnesota and South Dakota. That was good news, I thought, until I read a little further in the story. A little further in the story, you discovered the taconite was going to China. And the wind turbines, made in some cases from that very same taconite, were coming back from China. And I thought about the map, and I thought about the route that those freighters had to take down the Great Lakes, past Chicago, past Cleveland, past Erie, Buffalo, past cities and waterfronts which had every single ingredient: steel mills, foundries, skilled labor, supply chains, skilled workers, to make wind turbines. But no. That taconite went down the St. Lawrence Seaway. It went down the Atlantic coast, past Sparrows Point, right near here in Baltimore, another place they could be making wind turbines, through the Panama Canal to China and then back again. And I began trying to understand why this did not seem to make sense. And I went, as it happens, I met in India with a guy who was the vice president for business development of Suzlon Wind Company. And I spent an afternoon trying to persuade him to move his manufacturing facilities to the United States. And I spent 4 hours. He was very polite. And at the end of the 4 hours, he said to me, "Look, Mr. Pope," he said, "if I go to China, I know what the rules are, and I know the Chinese are serious. They're going to build a lot of wind turbines. If I go to Latin America, I can sit down with the government, I know what the rules are, and I know they're serious. I know they're going to build a lot of wind turbines." He said, even here in India, which has a legendarily bad business climate, he said the rules are clear and the scale is big. He said in the United States, you diddle around. You change the rules every year or two, and you do everything halfway. Tell me why I should move a wind factory to the United States. If we don't get clean energy big, we won't get the green jobs. The green jobs come with scale. They don't come with half measures. They don't come with a reluctance to really embrace a new energy future. I am afraid that this moment may slip past us. I am afraid that the long-established dynamics of Capitol Hill, that are many, many years on the defensive, have blunted our ability to seize the prize. This Congress is not, I assure you, hearing from the American people that they want a green recovery now. This Congress is not hearing from the American people. Not only that the American people are willing to move into a new energy future, but that the American people demand that Congress lead. We have a few months, I believe, to change that dynamic. We have a few months to take an energy and climate bill, which is the very best that yesterday's politics could produce. It is the very best that yesterday's politics could produce, and transform it into a vehicle for the politics and the economic recovery and the future of tomorrow.